Welcome back, everybody, to Goodwill Podcasting with Connor and Stone, your movie podcast that today is talking about Send Help. Yes, everybody, it is true. Sam Raimi is back with a horror film after more than a decade since his last one. I think it's 2013 was his last horror film, Drag Me to Hell. Now it's 2026, and we have Dylan O'Brien, we have Rachel McAdams, and we have Colby Does Horror on the podcast today, a new guest to talk about this movie, this good movie, this great movie, this mediocre movie. Who knows? We'll get into that. But before we do, please, our guest, Colby, thank you for joining us on this episode of Goodwill Podcasting, my friend.
Dude, I'm honored. Thank you guys for having me. I miss Dan. I love Dan. Shout out to Dan.
Any of our audio listeners, Colby spoiled it a little bit there. Dan is not here. Yeah, he's on vacation. Hopefully he found the one warm portion of the United States to vacation to this weekend. A mutual friend of ours, Sean, Modern Mythos Media, a good friend of the podcast. I found out that he is currently next to me in Florida. I won't say specifically where, but he's like at a bachelor's party. And I was like, I'm so sorry, my friend. Because I feel like somebody who's planning their bachelor's party in Florida in January is like, hell yeah. Because I know he's originally from New Jersey. So I'm assuming that this groom's from New Jersey. Like, dude, this is going to be sick. Go to the beaches. Man, it's brutal. It is brutal here right now.
Dude, it does get cold in Florida. I lived in Jacksonville for like 4 years when I was in the military. Dude, Florida gets pretty cold.
What branch were you in?
I was in the Navy.
Thanks for being my taxi.
Yeah,
I was gonna say some joke will come there. Connor, what would you have done if he said Marine? I'm just curious. Would you have like jumped up, did a twirl, and sat back down? Like, what would happen? Like salute? I'm not familiar with the military jargon, but
maybe just kissed him or something. I don't know.
Do a soldier boy and kiss him through the phone. I got you.
I hate this.
So, 888-78-888-988-212, something like that. Okay.
No, only reason I hate that song is my barracks roommate in Pensacola, when I was stationed there for job school, would sing it to his girlfriend every night for 4 months straight.
Okay. Did they break up? Or they're still together?
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm pretty sure she was cheating on him and they broke up. But
that's accurate.
It's nice. That's because he was only kissing her through the phone, and not in real life. But I wanted to say, Colby, I think by your username, you like horror movies.
A little bit.
Yeah. We thought that you would be perfect for, this episode to talk about Sam Raimi's return, the legendary Sam Raimi's return to the genre. But do you want to tell our audience about yourself? And, it looks like you specify in that genre, but, just your content in general.
Yeah. So I do reviews, reactions, attempt comedic takes sometimes. But yeah, so I just talk about horror movies. I've been doing it it'll be 2 years in April. And then I got lucky, hit the algorithm a few times, got a pretty decent following on all my platforms, and people seem to enjoy my takes. So I'm very thankful for my followers and just being able to talk about horror movies for a living now. It's really a dream come true.
That's got to be one of the coolest things in the world, is like having people who are waiting for Colby Does Horror. They know Iron Lung's coming out. They know Send Help's coming out. They know The Bone Temple, aka 28 Years Later 2's coming out, and they're just waiting for your review. I can only imagine. That's something that me, Connor, Dan have talked about. Dan really has built this like cult following of people who are like, dude, you've got to check out Marty Supreme. You've got to check out Marty Supreme. He's like, F Kevin O'Leary, I'm not watching that. Everyone's like, oh, come on, dude. So that's cool that you've gained that over the couple of years that you've been doing this.
Appreciate that. I was really excited when Connor reached out to me and asked me to be on the podcast. So I appreciate both of you guys. Thank you.
I honestly think you're the first guest that I've gotten for the podcast in probably over a year at this point.
Oh, hell yeah. I feel honored.
Yeah, usually, just because I think Connor's been around longer, like he told you before we jumped on, he's been around longer on TikTok than me and Dan, so I think his following's a little bit different than me and Dan's. Usually me and Dan know the same people, but he has a little bit of a different following. So I didn't follow you, which I was surprised about, but he reached out to you, and now we follow each other. So guys, audience, Goodwill podcasters, what are our followers called, Connor?
I don't think we've ever talked about that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that maybe later. The Goodwillers. Apples? Oh,
I like the
got you.
Goodwillers.
The Goodwillers. But I wanted to say, before we jump into like this tropical island setting of this movie, unfortunately, I want to talk about the antithesis of that, and that is the United States of America this weekend in January, because it is cold as fuck. And I'm curious, guys, because I want to talk about my problems, but to be curious, I want to talk about your problems with this weather first. Colby, where are you from, and how is it going over there when it comes to the coldness?
I am an hour outside of Chicago, and honestly, this week was like a heat wave. It was last week it hit negative 30 something with the wind chill. So it was pretty awful last week. Like, it was my oldest son's school got canceled just for how cold it was. We didn't get any snow like everybody else these past 2 weeks, but yeah, last week was rough. This week it warmed up a little bit. I think it was in the 20s today and felt good. It was almost gym short weather. Basketball shorts.
Yeah, I did sneak out the gym shorts because I went to the gym this morning and I just jumped in my car, and then I went to the gym and I jumped out of my car. So that little bit of time right there didn't hurt my my pale legs too much. Connor,
Counts.
it does. I felt it. I felt it. Connor, how's Cincinnati doing?
It's rough because it usually doesn't get as cold as it has this week, obviously. So, I mean, I'm usually waking up every morning around like 7 o'clock, and I'm taking my dogs out, and it's like -5 out. And with the wind chill, it feels like -10 almost.
Mhm.
So, like, I got to take them out in like 30-second increments, let them do their business, come back in for a little bit, warm up, take them back out so they can do their other business. And yeah, it's just rough. Thank God my truck has auto start though.
Yeah,
My
auto
car
start
has
is
that,
amazing.
but I never set it up because I just didn't expect it to get this cold down here.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And this is probably the most snow I've seen in a long time here.
I'm not excited, Connor. I think I told you, Colby, and I'm just, I don't know if you're a religious man, but whoever you call out to when you're in time of need, just do that for me this coming weekend, because I'm going back to my home state, which is Michigan, on Wednesday. Yeah. And before I get too much into that, I want to apologize to our audience. I know that they were already down in the comments. I looked at it. Drag Me to Hell did not come out in 2013. It came out in 2009. So it's been 17 years. Anyways, we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, I am bringing my Bahamian wife. The Bahamas is her home country, and I am bringing her to Gaylord, northern Michigan, and this week. And I'm scared for her. I'm scared that this will be the last week that I'm married, and it's been a good 4 years and 1-ish month. So I'm blessed. Connor, I don't know what type of man I'll be in a week, but we'll figure that out. My mother, God bless her soul, I love her to death, but for some reason she's like, you know what we should do when you guys are here? I'm like, what is that? We should go out on the water because it's so beautiful in a boat and you get to watch the ice hit the water. And I don't know why, but I went along with that idea, and I have been going along with that idea for weeks, months now. And then my wife is just like, Stone, why would she ask me to do that? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. So I even said that to my mother like 3 or 4 days ago. I was just like, why would you ask your Bahamian daughter-in-law to go out on a boat in like -10-degree weather? And she's like, you don't get wet, right? You're going to be almost dry. I'm like, wait. Not getting wet and almost dry are not the same thing. What is happening here? She's like, you'll be fine. So I am not looking forward to that. Also, I told you guys beforehand, before we jumped on, that I was a granny, or I felt like a 70-year-old grandma, because I'm drinking tea out of my alumni cup from college, but then also because I'm putting lotion on my hands. And what I've realized, unfortunately, in Florida with this cold weather is that I have eczema. So my hands are cracking like a bitch and they hurt. And I bought this fancy hand cream, not a sponsor. And I've been putting it on there. I've been layering it up there. And I also found out today, after looking in, the mirror and seeing my receding hairline, seeing how far it goes back, that my eyebrow also has a spot. Like underneath the hair, it's also dry. So I'm falling apart, man. I feel like Post Malone in 2015. So, Goodwill podcasting is keeping me together right now. Colby does horror, Connor movie shark. You guys are keeping me with it right now. So I appreciate the two of you.
I'm happy to help.
Speaking of appreciation, I can only imagine, Colby, you liking the genre of horror, have maybe a fanciness or a fancy towards Mr. Sam Raimi. We a while ago, I believe we did a sequel episode for horror films because we were covering Smile 2. That was like
Mhm.
2 years ago. That was a long episode ago. We did Paranormal Activity 2, we did Evil Dead
Yes.
2, and I can't remember, Connor, what else did we talk about?
Smile 2, Evil Dead 2,
Paranormal Activity
Paranormal
2,
Activity 2.
Scream
what
2?
was it? What was it?
It might have been Scream 2.
Yeah, it was Scream 2 because Dan had never seen the Scream franchise at that point.
Okay. And I want to let you know, Colby, because I don't know how you fancy it. We're about to talk about it. But I was higher on Evil Dead 2 more than these guys were. They're like, is it really that good? Is it just like a nostalgia thing for horror lovers, for content creators? Because I'm not buying it. I bought it. I was loving it. But I mean, the guy here, the Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, obviously got a little bit of horror there with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, just a little bit for superhero fans. Drag Me to Hell, the 2009 film, Drag Me to Hell, not 2013, like some foolish guy said earlier. But I don't believe there's really anything else. Have you watched The Gift? Is The Gift a horror film?
It's been a long time, but yeah, I think The Gift was his last horror movie, I want to say.
Well, besides Drag Me to Hell, right?
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. So do you find yourself rewatching his movies a lot when it comes to like the classics?
I watch Evil Dead 2 a lot more than a normal person should.
Nice.
Evil Dead 2 is my second favorite Evil Dead. My favorite movie of all time is Evil Dead 2013, the one that Sam Raimi didn't even do.
That was Fede Alvarez, right?
Yep.
That movie's sick.
Dude, it's so good. It's like my comfort movie.
I was like, let's get on a little tangent real quick because Evil Dead Rise, how did you feel about that?
Man.
Okay, interesting. I know a lot of people liked it.
Mhm.
I was talking with a buddy of mine. We went to see Iron Lung together. And I saw a trailer for The Mummy, the new Mummy movie coming from Lee Cronin.
Yep.
And I saw a lot of things online about test screenings and people not necessarily loving the movie and thinking it was kind of horrible. And there was rumors going around that they were actually going to rename the film from The Mummy to The Resurrection. And then they announced that Brendan Fraser and what's the actress? Rachel Weisz are coming back for another Mummy movie. What is that? The third one with the two of them in it? Fourth one? And I was like, is that movie still coming out? And then we got a trailer all of a sudden. And it's funny because I'm looking at Letterboxd right now and it says the title of the movie is literally Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Yeah, I'm getting sent that early.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if that's a good sign.
I've never seen The Mummy either. So
I actually went on a bit of a tangent on my podcast. Like, I don't think Evil Dead Rise is a bad movie. I just didn't like it. I thought the opening for that movie is one of the best in the entire franchise. But I just don't like where it went, the like big ball thing at the end. I just didn't vibe with it. But my biggest thing was like, I don't understand why they feel like they need to add Lee Cronin's The Mummy for that.
I was just looking, man. I'm confused. Maybe that is just to keep it separate.
Like, does he have like the resume for that already?
Well, I guess the issue is like you already have obviously the original Mummy, and then you have Tom Cruise's Mummy from 2017 that's also called The Mummy, and then maybe you just don't want to have a third film from the same studio that's called The Mummy, especially when it might be bad. Connor, when are you going to be able to watch that? When are they sending it to you?
It's a good question. He just emailed me about it like last week, and I told him I'd be interested in watching that one early. I don't watch a lot of what this company sends me early. So I told him that one I'd be interested in. He said, cool, we'll get it to you soon. Okay. That's what I know
hope it's good. A lot of people did like Evil Dead Rise. I'm trying to see if Sam Raimi was really involved with that at all. He wasn't, I don't believe. He wasn't even a producer on it. Obviously, it just came from his original writing from the original Evil Dead movie. So, he was an executive producer. Okay, so not a producer, but an executive producer. Anyways, dude, I've watched all of his movies except we talked about what was it, The Gift, but then also I still haven't seen Army of Darkness. And I'm going to be completely honest, completely transparent with you guys, with our audience. It is just so different than the Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. And I do this a lot of times where I'm like about to watch a movie and my mind going into the movie, like I think I know what I'm about to get. And then I'm ready for a movie like that. And then I sit down and start watching it and I'm like, hold up. And I'm like just not in the right headspace for it. So I turned it off. And that was probably a year ago. I watched maybe 30 minutes of it. Connor, do you know like what the setting of the Army of Darkness is?
I don't, but I can be misspeaking here, but I'm pretty sure it's my mom's favorite.
I'm not surprised. It's so different. Colby, you'd be able to like explain it better than me. Like, how does Ash get there? Does he go back? He goes back in time?
Yeah. He gets pulled back in time, I think, through the Necronomicon, and he's in like the medieval ages, and the Deadites attack him there, and it's just full camp.
Dude, it's medieval horror film. Me?
No, Colby. What, the Necronomicon?
The Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead.
The Book of the Dead.
I'm a horror nerd, dude.
Dude, the Necronomicon. Yeah,
I got
it's medieval horror Sam Raimi film.
Stone, is that how you feel when Sean and I just pull out random stuff about Star Wars?
No, but what are those called? Isn't there a name for the Star Wars characters that have like funny names? There's like a common name for all of them.
Oh, a Glup Shido?
It's like a Glup Shido for just random Star Wars characters' names. Give me an example of a Glub Shido.
He might be too popular now because of social media, but like if you were to say a Glup Shido in like 08, you could say like a Ben Quadraneros.
I know who that is. He's too popular.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like now he's become very popular on TikTok for some reason.
He's Tatooine's number 3 pod racer, I believe. After Sebulba and Anakin Skywalker. It was rigged, bro. Speaking of, we were talking about medieval times. I gotta say, you guys probably haven't turned on to it just yet. I don't know about you, Colby. I don't think you have, Connor. I know Dan has. Right now, they just premiered the newest episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms on Max. That show is a delight. I cannot overemphasize that enough. It is so much fun and it's so lighthearted, and it's just an easy watch, and it's like a really nice, I don't know, winding down the day kind of show. I mean, it comes on 9 o'clock on HBO, but that's the spinoff, another spinoff, the new spinoff of the Game of Thrones universe.
I've been in a mix of watching The Last Airbender for the first time through. I have 4 videos I'll be posting this week, Stone. And
so what episode are you on right now?
Well, so I've watched through episode 6 now. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I've also, if I'm like just don't want to use my brain, I've been watching Tires on Netflix.
So good.
Have you watched Avatar, Colby? Sorry,
I haven't.
Okay. We can talk about Tires for a little bit. I haven't watched Tires, but I know Shane Gillis, like a Shane Gillis show. That's all.
Honestly, I'm not like, I don't love it as much as I thought I would. Like I'm a huge stand-up comedy fan. So I watch almost all of them that come to Netflix and stuff. But I kind of just turned on Tires one night because I saw one of the famous Tires clips like circulate TikTok, and I also realized all the best jokes are just on TikTok and everything else is just yeah.
It's usually how it works.
Yeah,
for all comedies.
But it's a great, just if you don't really want to pay attention, like you're just winding down for the night,
turn your brain off
before bed. It's a great show for that.
Yeah, I Colby, because you just followed me, you don't know that I just did this because I just posted it on my story like 2 days ago, but I just finished Breaking Bad for the first time. Have you seen Breaking Bad?
Probably like 4 or 5 times.
Wow. Okay.
You finally finished it. I can tell you where I stopped all 3 times I've attempted to watch that show.
Public service announcement for all of our audience. Connor is about to spoil somewhere in the middle of season 5 of Breaking Bad. If you want, just fast forward a little bit and you'll get back into the show.
It's whenever I think Hank's already in a wheelchair and he's watching this video of some dude dancing that Jesse had just killed.
Hold on. Hank's never in a wait, Hank is in a wheel. Oh, I got you. Okay. My bad. I was confusing Michael and Hank. Hank is in a wheelchair, so that's probably season 4, not season 5.
Was it that one chemist?
Yeah, I think it's a chemist.
Oh, it's Gale. He's watching Gale. So that's like the middle of season 4 where you stopped it.
Okay. That's where I've stopped all 3 times I've tried to watch the show.
Why? That's so good.
I don't know.
Is that the Fly? The episode with the Fly?
No, the Fly. No, Gale's not dead yet. When they're watching that, Gale is dead. The Fly is in the middle of season 3. Gale dies at the end of season 3.
Mm-hmm.
So what Connor's watching is like the middle of season 4. That's
I'm
where
really
Walt comes up with the idea. That's where Walt comes up with the idea to Hank opens a book and it says it's like a love letter from Gale to somebody named WW. It's like a poem, I believe, a Walt Whitman poem. And even though that's to Walter White, Walt clocks. He's like, oh, it's WW, Walt Whitman. And he's like, oh, he like saved himself there. But that's actually his downfall. I don't want to spoil nothing. But no, it was good. I also watched El Camino right after.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on El Camino?
I liked El Camino. It was weird seeing like how heavy Jesse Plemons was at the time.
Oh, dude, my wife's like, got a belly.
And now he's skinny again now. But
yeah.
But I liked El Camino. It was a good like send off for Jesse.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessary. I think everyone just assumed something like that would happen with Jesse's character. One thing that bugged me, and it just always bugs me, is when like a new antagonist is introduced in the movie. Like, oh, this person was also there at the very end. They were a welder in the place that Jesse was being held, and now they're the big bad. I'm like, okay, that seems kind of shoehorned in. And then it was also a bunch of flashbacks because it felt like the MCU before the MCU. Like, let's get all the OG people from Breaking Bad in this 2-hour-long movie. But yeah, it was a long watch. I'm glad it's over. I'm sad though that Send Help is over because I really did enjoy this movie. We won't get into the review just yet, but I wanted to talk about the 2 lead actors because I think everybody was excited for this film before it came out, not only because Sam Raimi was returning to horror after 17 years, but also the fact that it had Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. And I'm looking at Rachel McAdams' filmography right now, and there's really nothing. Okay. All right. Mr. Married with 2 kids. I'm married, but with no kids. So it's a little less, weird if I say it. I have 2 dogs, but no, I mean, she's in Spotlight, right? And I believe 2016 Spotlight came out, or 2015. I believe that won Best Picture. Oh no. See, I gotta check this out because I've already made one mistake and I can't keep, saying bullshit. Oh, look at that. Spotlight won Best Picture at the 88th Academy Awards in 2016. Good job. Good poll, Stone. Anyways, she's in a, Best Picture winning film. She's in About Time. Have you guys seen About Time, the romance film?
No, that's when I always get mixed up with In Time or something.
Oh, that's the Justin Timberlake and Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde.
Movie.
Oh yeah,
good concept, bad execution. Yeah, that movie's great. That's holding at a 4.1 on Letterboxd. I watched that movie. It's such a good concept, and she's so good at it. So she could do comedy, she could do romance, she could do dramas. I mean, Mean Girls,
dude, she did Mean Girls and The Notebook in the same year.
I'm not saying that Rachel McAdams is typecasted, but she always plays like the really pretty like woman in whatever she's in. And it's crazy like how they made her look like she smelled like cat piss and just wild in this movie. So I love how they went that route with her.
That's a great find there. That's a great thought. I didn't even think of that, but you're absolutely right. I want to say I knew it. Okay, so I thought that she was nominated for an Oscar a couple years ago. I think she was up for consideration when it came to Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. That's a great film that didn't get the recognition that it deserved, but she was not nominated for that. But she was nominated as a supporting actress for Spotlight. I don't believe she won it, but she was nominated that year in 2016. But then Dylan O'Brien, this guy is. Did you guys watch Teen Wolf?
No.
I think I saw like 1 or 2 episodes.
Okay. My wife, huge Teen Wolf fan. Also, friend of the podcast. I don't know. I'm not sure if you follow him or not. Fabian Cinespidey.
Oh, yeah.
Huge Teen Wolf fan. So it's crazy to me that this guy went from Teen Wolf and then started his own franchise, lead of his own franchise, The Maze Runner. And then the projects that he's been doing since then have just been super interesting. He has like, artsy films when it comes to like Saturday Night or even like Twinless. He had a lot of recognition last year from Twinless. I believe it was in Dan's top 10 movies of the entire year. I believe he was nominated for a Critics' Choice Award for that film. But then you also have like fun popcorn movies. He was in Bumblebee. He was in Love and Monsters. He was also in the M. Night Shyamalan written film for HBO Max, Caddo Lake, 2 years ago. But yeah, this guy he seems super likable too. And unfortunately, Dan's not here with us, but he knew way more details about his accident. I guess like the second or third Maze Runner movie, he almost died in a stunt, got seriously injured.
The second one on the Scorched Trials,
Yeah.
which I love that franchise.
I love Maze Runner.
I mean, I don't love Scorched Trials, but I like the first and third.
Do you want to know why I believe that movie or that franchise? Why this is why the Maze Runner franchise is so successful, and it's like higher than other young adult fiction franchises like Divergent or Insurgent. It's because it has the same director the entire time. Wes Ball directed every single movie. Like you could just look at the sequel films for Star Wars, right? And realize how fucked up your trilogy gets when you have different creatives coming in and trying to, put their ideas and how non-cohesive that becomes. But Wes Ball directed all three of those films, had a vision, had the same cast, and they're all pretty solid. It's the same thing with the Hunger Games films. Francis Lawrence, besides the first Hunger Games films, which I can't remember who directed the original Hunger Games movie, but Catching Fire, Mockingjay 1, Mockingjay 2, the newer films, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the one that's coming out this year, Sunrise on the Reaping, those are all the same director. And also, crazy horror guy, Colby does horror, because it made so much sense when I was watching the movie. But the first 10 minutes of The Long Walk last year, it's like, oh, it's all these kids from a different area of the world, and they're all fighting and trying to outlast each other and try not to die. From the director of The Hunger Games, Catching Fire. I'm like, well, that makes sense. The Long Walk is just another spinoff of The Hunger Games. That's all it is. So when I saw that, I was like, that's genius. And there is some actors, I think Ben Wong, he's coming over from The Long Walk, and he's going to be in the new Hunger Games movie. But yeah, that's why I believe that the Maze Runner movies have just been so good. And then that guy, Wes Ball is his name. He directed the new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie, which I thought was super solid. And he's also directing the new Legend of Zelda film.
Yep.
Which they're shooting right now, and I'm really excited for. So we'll see what happens with that. But do you guys want to talk about Send Help? Been yapping for a little bit. All right, let me say the synopsis real quick. What's up, Connor?
No, say the synopsis, and then I kind of want to start us off with a question.
Ooh, okay. All right, let's see what Google gives me today. All right, we're going IMDb. All right, what's the synopsis on IMDb? Let me grab my tea here. I don't need my lotion just now. An employee and her insufferable boss become stranded on a deserted island, the only survivors of a plane crash. Here, they must overcome past grievances and work together to survive. Will they make it out alive? Now, Connor, before you go, I wanted to say just a little bit. I wanted to give the cast and crew of this movie. I believe we've really already talked about them. There's not a whole lot of cast and crew. Obviously, this is written and directed by Mr. Sam Raimi, starring Dylan O'Brien and Miss Rachel McAdams. That's about it. I would say there's not really anybody else to mention.
The fiance.
Oh wait, hold on. I thought this was written by Sam Raimi. It doesn't look like it. Damn it! I lied again. It was written by Mark Swift, and then also Damian Shannon, who worked on the Baywatch movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Fun fact. Anyways, Connor, what is your question before we get into our spoiler-free review?
So I saw this morning at 11:30, and I was surprised because my theater was sold out. And so I wanted to ask you guys, do you think that was because of Rachel McAdams, Dylan O'Brien, Sam Raimi, or because the winter weather storm was at its peak, heat today, and we got up to 11 degrees here in Cincinnati?
Why was your theater sold out? That's what you're curious about.
Yeah, like which one of these things do you think had a bigger pool?
Probably the winter storm, I would say. Possibly, but then also, I mean, the word of mouth on this movie has been really good. The reviews have been pretty phenomenal. I believe, let me look it up real quick. I mean, the one thing that everyone should look at when it comes to word of mouth and how good word of mouth is going to be for movies is cinema score. which if people don't know is when they basically interview you right after the movie and see how likely you are to recommend this literally to people. And for horror films, a lot of times they're not that high. Really good horror films will have low cinema scores because they're really divisive a lot of times. But Send Help had a B plus. There's a lot of shit that goes down in this movie, a lot of graphic shit. And a B plus is a really good rating for a horror movie. So I think word of mouth has been great. I mean, the Rotten Tomatoes scores for Send Help, I believe, are both the critic score and the audience score are both in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check it out right now. We've got a 93 from critics and an 88 from audience. Whew. But Colby, what do you think? You think it was still an O'Brien?
I mean, my main poll was Sam Raimi, but for like general, I don't know. It could be a mix between. It could be a like, yes, big horror hounds, definitely Sam Raimi, but I mean, Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien are really big names, and they're playing like very not themselves characters. So I don't know. I think they could both be a big part of it too.
Yeah, let's look at the box
I was
office.
I was like I was excited for this movie, but I was so over seeing the trailer because I felt like it was being shoved down my throat everywhere I looked. So, but I wonder if that helped. Like I said, like it's, you know, the warmest it's been in like a week and a half here now at 11 degrees outside today. So like it's still something to do to get out of the house, but still inside activity. So I don't know.
It did overperform. I think a lot of people projected it to take in about $15 million this opening weekend. It did overperform at $20 million, which is great. I just looked up what the box office was for his last horror movie, Drag Me to Hell. Obviously, this was a long time ago, so you have to take it in inflation, but it was 15.8. So it could be the Sam Raimi pull. It really could be, you know, what is factoring into here. Also, I had it in our outline, something for us to discuss. So maybe we can discuss it right now, just really quick. But something that also could be contributing to why this movie is doing good is there's another pretty anticipated horror film that is out in theaters. So maybe this audience is just going from one movie to the next. They're going from Send Help to Mr. Markiplier's Iron Lung, or they're going to Iron Lung and going over to Send Help afterwards.
That's what I did on Thursday. I saw Iron Lung, and then right after I just walked into Send Help.
There you
so
go.
if you guys like lock down a name for this, is it like the Iron Help or the Send Lung?
The Iron Help.
The Iron Help be kind of sick.
I like that. That goes higher.
The Iron Help. Yeah, that is an interesting movie. I wrote down that we're going to talk about it just a little bit. Personally, for me, it's too long. I think that's the number one complaint that a lot of people have had with it. It's a one location film, and I made a video that did pretty well, just breaking down the lore. So Iron Lung is adapted from a indie video game. Markiplier played the indie video game, really liked the ideas behind it, asked the creator, hey, can I turn this into a movie? He said, absolutely. Took about 3 years for him to do that, 4 years for him to do that, released it in thousands of theaters, independently funded movie in thousands of theaters because he has that big of an audience. The total for him this weekend on a $3 million budget for a YouTuber is $17.8 million that they brought in, which is crazy. Also, another thing about the film that I really liked was the whole popcorn bucket thing. Did you see this, Colby, where Regal Cinemas were giving out, I don't really know how to say this, but the digital code to people who had 3D printers? Like they were just, here's the file for the 3D printer of the Iron Lung popcorn bucket. You can print it out at your home and bring it to the theater. And if you bring it to the theater, you can get a free small popcorn.
That's actually pretty sick.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. But anyways, it is a one location film, set in one location, set in a submarine in a post-apocalyptic world where there's a moon that is filled with human blood. That's like an ocean. I don't know. Have you seen any of my videos? Do you know anything about this, Connor?
Not really.
Basically, the idea of the movie, with no spoilers, is Markiplier. He wrote the movie, he edited the movie, I believe he stars in it, and he directed it. So this is like his baby, really, besides, you know, production design and sound effects and stuff like that. But basically, the premise of this film, this other horror film that came out this weekend, along with Some Help, is It's one guy who's trapped in the submarine, and basically you find out that something called the humans. It's in the future. Humans were living on planets, spaceships, space stations, everywhere. Right. All of a sudden, all the planets and the stars vanished. They don't know what happened to it. Boom, just gone. So the only people who were left were people on like spaceships and space stations. So those people had a war. They couldn't get along. They had a war, and one side took prisoners. Anyways, when that snap happened and all those people disappeared, these moons popped up that had oceans of human blood all on them. And what the movie's about is it's about a convict, one of these prisoners of war from this battle that happened in space, is being sent down in a submarine by himself to explore these oceans. And there's fucking weird stuff that's down there.
Interesting. That actually sounds kind of cool.
One thing I absolutely loved about it, and it's part of the game, but basically you just have the front of the sub where you navigate it in the waters. You have like coordinates, stuff like that. But in the back of the sub, you have this giant button. And when you click this button, there's this huge screen that takes a radioactive picture of what is outside the submarine. What I thought was really cool is it's really dark in there a whole lot. So he would keep pressing the button just for light because he couldn't see anything. And I was like, that was a smart idea. But the movie itself, Connor, if you watch it, it's stunning to look at. It does not look like a low budget film. Now, it's easy to do that when there's not a whole lot of film going on. You're not going to a lot of different sets, a lot of different locations. You literally just have to build the submarine and make it look realistic, and they do a good job at that. I thought the sound design is really cool.
Sound design was awesome. I was really impressed with the sound design.
Really good. They made a lot of fake blood. I thought Markiplier's acting was probably a 6 out of 10.
His acting surprised me.
Yeah, there's sometimes when he gets emotional where I'm like, it's not really doing it for me right now. Problem is the movie's too long, and a lot of people did not like how ambiguous it is. All that information that I just told you, Connor, about what happened in space with the snap and everything, the movie doesn't really care about conveying that information to you in like an expository dialogue. It kind of just shows you images. You hear like hints of something called the rapture, maybe in the background. There's people talking to him in this like radio system. So Colby, what did you think of it? To me, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was impressive. I didn't mind how ambiguous it was. I wish it was shorter though.
Yeah. In my review, I said that, like, honestly, I'm really happy for Markiplier. Everything he did, produced, starred, directed, everything. Couldn't be happier. I thought the movie looked great. The sound design was awesome. Acting surprised me. It did have some cool imagery, but the biggest thing is if you don't know anything about this game, I don't think you're going to enjoy it. Like, I knew nothing about it, but obviously I'm a big horror fan, so I enjoyed the visuals and everything, but I was fighting for my life to stay awake. I'm not even going to lie. It was way too long. I think it would work great as a short, but like even all the emotion, the tension, like it just didn't work for me. And like the last 10 minutes was really cool. Like, I'm not going to spoil it. I thought that was awesome, but I don't think that the payoff was worth the slow burn.
Yeah, it's tough because I think why I was so engaged was because I was watching it in a theater. I think it'd be a rough one to try to watch it at home.
Yeah.
Not a lot goes on, and it's 2 hours of that before like a 10-minute finale where it's like, holy shit, what's going on here? So it's not too scary, Connor. So maybe you would like it. I'm not sure.
I was gonna say, Colby, I don't know if you know, but I am not a horror guy.
It's all right.
Both the jump scares and Send Help got me.
Dude, the one on the beach got me pretty well. Pretty good.
Yeah. I'm thinking of that one and then the plane.
Well, I'm thinking about that movie. So let's get into it. Spoiler free review. Colby, you are a guest. Share your brief thoughts.
I had an absolute blast with Send Help, like from start to finish. And I sat through over almost 2.5 hours of Iron Lung, went straight to the other theater, sat down for Send Help, and I was debating leaving. Like I was annoyed that like I was just so bored. I was like, I don't want to sit through another movie, but I'm glad that I stayed because it starts off like grabbed my attention right away. Like I said earlier, Rachel McAdams, like she's known as like this beautiful woman in every role she's in. And she looks like she smells like cat piss. Like she's got split ends everywhere going on. She just doesn't take care of herself. So it was just crazy seeing Rachel McAdams like that. And then like obviously I knew the setting was going to be on like desert island, so I was excited that we're like in an office or in a different setting where then I know where it's going to lead up to. And then there's quite a few Sam Raimi Easter eggs that I was lucky enough to catch, like leading up to the desert too. Like obviously he puts Bruce Campbell in every one of his movies, and it was on the IMDb, so I expected it already going in. But there's also a very brief. I didn't see this one, but I read about it and saw it after. But the famous car from Evil Dead, it is that he also puts in every movie. It is in the parking garage behind Rachel McAdams when she's in the car having the breakdown. So I'm excited to go back and see that because I did not notice that one. But yeah, it starts off pretty tame. Obviously, if you've seen the trailer, you know the plane crashes. They're stuck on a desert island, like he just read the synopsis as well. And I was a big fan of like they didn't like force feed you that Rachel McAdams is like the survivalist or anything. They gave you little clips because she was watching Survivor. They found like her audition tape. I like how they built all that up. So as soon as they land, she knows what she's doing. She saves her dickhead boss because he's the only other one that washed up on shore. And just where the movie goes, I think they both have great character arcs. There's a lot of like in the middle and everything, just a very entertaining movie, but there's both great character development and character arcs for them. So going into the third act, I'm like, this movie could go either way for me. Like I heard some people say it was very predictable for him. I didn't feel that because it just built both of them up. So when it led into like what happened, I was on the edge of my seat. I loved it, and it turned into a full Sam Raimi movie, like from the third act on, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I thought about Ray Fiennes while watching this movie and his recent performance in 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, because I love when these actors who have been around for so long do not give a shit about being absolutely disgusting and just putting it all out there for a movie, for a script, because Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien give such physically demanding performances in this movie.
Yes.
Dylan O'Brien makes about 453 faces in this movie, and every single one of them are so memorable. He's so good when it comes to that type of acting. The subtle looks, just
his maniacal laugh got me too. Like every time he did that laugh, that took me out every time. I loved it. It reminded me of Eric from Billy Madison.
Oh yeah, that's perfect comparison. I would say Connor was talking about, I saw Send Help trailer so many times in theaters. I will say the two things about it is I love it was like or like it would flash. Like, I don't know, there's some sound effects that were at the very end of it that I really liked. But the time where, like you were saying, Colby, when Dylan O'Brien goes, it's so good.
He does it multiple times.
He's like, if you're a bitch, oh, it's so good.
He's such a cocksucker in that movie.
What I do like, maybe I missed the trailers, or that trailer that was in theaters wasn't a Red Band trailer, so I didn't get to see the bloody Sam Raimi side of the film. But I don't know why, but when I was watching the movie, that doesn't come for a little bit. And everything before they go on the airplane is pretty interesting. It's laying the foundations and the plot points that we'll get into on the island. Obviously, everything when it comes to the island, I mean, Survivor was a big part of this film, a big plot point. And I grew up watching Survivor. So I think part of the fun when it comes to watching a movie like this, like Castaway, is just finding out and seeing how these people manage to live on this island.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. That's why people watch Survivor. So you got that. And then all of a sudden you got the craziness of Sam Raimi that comes in the middle of the film with a particular animal. And that was fun. Rachel McAdams is just not afraid to just let loose. And it's really impressive to see something like that. I feel spoiled seeing these two actors give these type of performances.
Yeah.
But it's a good idea for a movie. A lot of people have said it's Castaway, but put, Sam Raimi spin on it. And that's basically what this movie is. And I couldn't be happier. I watched it last Saturday. I'm bummed because I wanted to actually watch it today, before we jumped on because it has been a week since I've watched it, so my memory isn't as fresh as you guys's. But unfortunately, the screenings, the screening times didn't match up with what I needed to be. But man, my audience was hooting and hollering. They fucking love this movie. It kind of reminded me of The Naked Gun. At some points, like when I watched The Naked Gun last year with Liam Neeson, I thought people were laughing too much. I'm like, all right, calm down. And it almost got there with this movie. Like people were like laughing more than I thought they would. But no, it's funny. It's so entertaining. It's so fun. And like you said, Colby, when it comes to these two characters and how they interact with each other, you think maybe at the beginning on the island or even in the beginning of the movie, you know the mindset and who these characters are. Are they good? Are they evil? Seems pretty laid out. But then as the movie goes on and certain things happen, you're like, should I be rooting for this person?
It has you switching sides multiple times.
Is this person actually wrong? Like, I get what he's feeling. Like, I get why he just did this. So that was just also super captivating, along with like the setting and the story and everything like that. So really impressive stuff.
Dude, one thing that really stood out to me too, and as soon as I saw it in the opening credits, was Danny Elfman's name. I was like, oh,
Same.
shit.
Yes.
So the whole movie, anytime that the score, like the music was present, it added a whole nother level of like emotion. Unless like the tension, the comedy, the emotion in it. Like I thought Danny Elfman gave an incredible score in that one.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, when that popped up, I literally went, "Oh shit!" I didn't even know he was part of this, and I was like,
I just think of Batman Returns every time I see his name.
Well,
I mean, he's done so many movies, but Batman Returns.
Toby Spider-Man trilogy too. With Sam
I was
Raimi.
just gonna say he worked with him on that too, so it makes sense.
I know we keep harping on Dylan O'Brien, but after how many times I saw that trailer, I was really worried going into this that he was going to be that like douchey frat guy, like for the entire thing. He was for the most part, but in the beginning, like he wasn't that the entire time, which really caught me off guard. Where he was still being like corporate in front of like the board, I guess we'll call them, and his lawyers, which I really liked. There was only like one kind of big plot hole I felt in this, which we'll get to in our spoiler talk. I'm happy you brought up Bruce Campbell because I was going to ask if you guys noticed him in this movie.
Of course.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in spoilers. I did not, so I'm excited for you guys to. I just totally clocked out. I guess maybe people were chuckling too much and I was distracted, but.
Do we want to
get for this? What is that your review?
I'm bad at spoiler free, so.
Oh,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
You're bad at spoiler free. All right. Well, everyone, spoilers are coming. Connor, you can talk about what you want to talk about now. You can give your review now. Give your review, but just spoil it. So you're doing both at the same time because we don't know your thoughts on this. You could have hated this movie. You just said, I can't do spoiler free. So did you like it? Did you dislike it? Spoilers everywhere. Be warned. Tell me, Connor. Tell Colby.
I did really like it. More than I thought I would, just because again, I was so annoyed by the trailer. But yeah, seeing both Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, like we have said, get out of their typical role that they're wrote for was really entertaining. I will say one of the things, this movie at one point did kind of feel like it was dragging on just a little bit at one point on the island. But I also think that weighed in heavily to the part where I almost forgot about the part where Rachel McAdams told him where those rocks form an X, don't go past that. It's all thorn bushes. Yep. Where we now learn that it was a billionaire's mansion back there.
I love that. That was the reveal.
Yeah. So I think that really did help a little bit. So I'm not holding that part in the middle where it does feel like a little drug out. God, dude. So the jump scare when they first get in that plane crash, and the dude is got to be the strongest tie knot in all of God's creation. To have him hanging onto the side of a plane,
yeah.
But when she's finally swimming out and his head just pops up, it just reminded me of Jaws, obviously.
It's so Sam Raimi though, because it's scary because it's a jump scare, but when you like actually. When you know it's coming, or if you knew it's coming and you sit back and look at it, it's kind of goofy. And I feel like that's a lot of what what that's really what Sam Raimi's good at.
It's
He is
his
good at
style.
scaring you, but it's like a fun thing. It's a
Mhm.
fun jump scare.
Oh, and the sound design helps immensely with the jump scare. And then, like we mentioned earlier, on the beach, when the fiance, I thought that she was like a vision. I didn't think the fiance was actually crawling up the beach. And so, like, obviously, when she like kind of disappears into smoke,
Oh,
it was, whatever. I was like, all right, cool, yeah. And then it just diverts your expectations and just
That
gets
was
you
very
right behind.
Drag Hell.
Yeah. Connor, you haven't seen Drag Me to Hell, have you?
No.
Probably,
There's
I would
so many
say,
jump scares.
Colby, you know this better than I do. I would say probably one of the most memorable endings of all time. Like, completely comes out of like left field a bit, and
Mhm.
you're like, what? And it's just Sam Raimi being like, I don't give a fuck what you wanted from this movie. I'm gonna do something wild at the end, and that's exactly what it is.
Drag Me to Hell isn't like the greatest movie like ever or anything like that, but Drag Me to Hell was maybe one of my top 10 theater experiences when I saw that one. Seeing that in the theater was so fun because the sound design, the jump scares in that one, the goofy visuals. It's such a fun movie to see in the theater. Because watching that one at home, it does not hit as well as in the theater.
I think when it comes to Sam Raimi, like you're saying, Connor, I do think that there are some times in this film where it dragged just a little bit, but I think that you're able to easily forget those moments because there are lows, but the highs are so high that you either don't care about them or you completely forget about them.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like how Drag Me to Hell is for me. I was like, there's so many like really iconic moments in that movie that's like what I walk away with rather than I guess maybe exposition or dialogue that I didn't necessarily like. But I did also get scared on the beach as well.
Dude, and the funniest part about this entire movie is I said I saw it with my mom. There was this like old couple, like probably 80 plus years old, sitting directly behind us. And every time in this, I'm talking like in the very beginning, when Linda hands the other guy the stack of paperwork, he's like, yeah, I promise I'll tell him that, it's your work. And then he takes off the Post-it note and throws it in the garbage can. All the way from that to the jump scare, every time something happened, you would just hear, oh, Jerry. It was so funny.
So was Jerry Dylan O'Brien's character's name?
No. That was her husband's name, the couple behind us.
So she was
Dylan
saying,
O'Brien
oh,
was Bradley.
yeah. So she was just saying, oh, Jerry, the entire movie.
Every time something happened. Yeah.
Well, you're a nicer person than I mean, I guess that'd be cute, but I'd be like, hey, Jerry knows he's watching it too. But they're 80. I mean, that's what I want to do when I'm 80, man. I can't wait till I don't have to work anymore, and all I need to do is just watch movies all day. I mean, maybe people still want to hear my thoughts and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't care. I'm gonna sit and be lazy. I'm
Just
85.
give a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah, just film me in the theater. Be like, film the screen. Yeah, should you record movies in the theater? No, but I'm 85 years old. Doesn't matter anymore.
Do you think you think I don't give a fuck now? Wait till I'm 85.
Yeah, right. I don't know why I didn't think about the X and like the fact that seemed like such an obvious thing that would be a part of this story. But like I was saying about the low points of the movie, I think I just forgot because the movie was so unpredictable and just so chaotic at times that I should have known that the X was like would factor back into it or that there would probably be. It just seems like a very typical thing for people to get stranded on this island, for somebody to want to stay here, and then all of a sudden on the other side of the island there's just a resort. Like, taking myself out of the theater and looking at this movie, I'm like, obviously that was going to be the twist at the end, but I just got lost in it, and it still surprised me.
Yeah, it was funny. My co-host Crystal, her thought process while watching it, she thought that that big mansion was going to be the creator of Survivor.
Dude, Jeff Probst, that
Could you imagine?
Sick. That would have been so good, dude. I say I love Survivor. That would have been really funny.
Yeah, I would have laughed my ass off.
I guess mentally, what I think about, and I was honestly shocked. This is just how I view movies and how I view media. I was kind of surprised that Survivor was in this movie, because this is a Disney-owned film. It's made by 20th Century Studios, and Survivor is a CBS show, so that's Paramount. So I'm just wondering how the deal behind the scenes went with something like that. And then also, if you do have Jeff Probst come in at the very end and maybe even talk about Survivor even more. Maybe that would have been too much and just another layer on top of that, but that would have been a fun idea. If this was a Paramount production, something like that probably would have happened.
Yeah, I could see that.
But we were talking about it though, like how this movie subverts your expectations. Especially, hold on, let me see her name right. What was Rachel McAdams' character's name?
Oh, Linda Little.
Linda. So Linda, we're meant to go into this movie for the first 40 minutes thinking that Linda is the good person, really, and Dylan O'Brien is the douchebag. Obviously, Linda is keeping him there. We do know that because there is a scene pretty early on where a boat is driving by and she doesn't tell him about it. But it kind of makes sense for where the characters are at that time in the film because she really wants him, I believe, to learn a lesson. Like, this is what this guy deserves, is to stay on this island. But then she kind of likes hanging out with him. And then he kind of shows his ass. And she's like, okay, this isn't that bad. But then she tells the story, this interesting story about her husband, her now dead husband, where she did essentially kill him. It's such a tricky situation because do the ends justify the means? Because without her and without her giving him that alcohol, he would be still alive today. Yep. But he was abusive. So it is crazy because I was like, okay, that seems justified. When she did that, I'm like, all right, that makes sense. But then Dylan O'Brien's girlfriend comes into the picture. And then Linda's not being too friendly anymore. And then Linda does this, and she pushes these people off a cliff. And then Dylan O'Brien says that to her. And it's like, you killed him just like you killed your husband. I was like, he's kind of got a point. She's kind of morally gray in a weird way. She is a pretty strange character, especially when you get to the end. And she's murdered Dylan. She's murdered Bradley. She's murdered the girlfriend. She's murdered that poor soul who was just there driving the boat. And she's living a life of luxury. And I'm just like, she's kind of not that great of a person.
No,
far from it.
But I think
that makes it so much more interesting that both of these characters are like that.
And see, that's the ending that I think they needed to have, because if her and Bradley both got saved, they go back to the office, I think that life would be the exact same. I still don't think he would give her that VP position. I think it would just be the exact same. And Bradley would probably get all the credit for surviving and having them both survive because he's already this big CEO of this company and everything. So
yeah. Since we're talking about the end, do you guys think it's at all a plot hole? And I hope I didn't miss this when I just had to step away. But the billionaire who owns that house, like, he would have come back at some point to vacation there, to visit there, whenever he goes to that house. And even if she cleaned up the body, and let's say she cleaned up the blood, there would still be a lot of stuff broken, a lot of stuff missing. And like, I feel like he would have called someone or his housekeepers or something and be like, what happened? Why are the security cameras broken and out? And then probably have someone come in and investigate. They might find samples of Bradley's blood, in which case they could figure out that something happened to him in that house. And do you think that could ever come back onto Linda's character?
That'd be kind of cool in a sequel. I don't think that's necessarily a plot hole. I think that would be maybe sequel material. Also, I think you're giving more credit to billionaires than they're due, because billionaires have so much shit that I don't think they care. I mean, that guy probably has more than just one house, and how often does he visit that house? Who knows?
Yeah, I'm with you there. But like, billionaires also have fuck you money and buy fuck you money stuff, which is the artifact that Dylan O'Brien or Bradley, broke a horn off of to use as a weapon. And I feel like if he had a room full of artifacts, that's like his niche that he would notice.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's a plot hole. I think that's a good sequel idea, though.
Do you think we should get a sequel to this, though? I think the ending's good.
It'd be tough to do. It would be tough to do an ending or a sequel because you have Dylan O'Brien out of the picture, obviously out of the picture. So I don't think, because this is not a one lead movie, this is a 2 lead movie. It's Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. There's nobody else. It's the 2 of them. So I kind of don't think that you can do a sequel without one of the characters, unfortunately.
No, I'm with you. I don't even think this needs a sequel. I'm happy to leave this as a one-off movie.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a plot hole. Also, how long has passed? A year has passed, I think, since the events when we see her on the golf course.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's not a bad thought, but I wouldn't necessarily count it as a plot hole
Also,
personally.
actually, you know what? Here's the real plot hole: is how good her golf swing is in that drive on that 18th green or 18th tee box that she picked up golf in a year's time to look that good.
She practiced on his head. That was a good transition.
I love that transition.
That was a good cut. That was really good.
So like after the boar and after their like fight in the woods, I thought it was just going to be another like gruesome eye like injury.
Oh.
Dude, it's crazy because I personally thought, how long is this movie? This movie's about an hour and 50 minutes. I think a lot of times when it comes to horror movies, you think that they're going to be 90 minutes tops. A lot of horror movies are like that. Colby, you can probably say whether I'm right or not. But I think around the 90-minute mark, we get that fight in the woods with the two of them just beating the shit out of each other, gauging eyes out, biting each other, ripping hair out. I'm like, okay, this is the climax. And I was okay with that. And I was like, here we go. This is getting pretty intense. No, there's a mansion. I was like, I was like, what? So that was like the icing on the cake. I'm like, you know what? This is pretty satisfying so far. And they're like, nah. Raimi's like, nah, I got a little
throw
bit
some
more
more
for
at
you.
you.
And I was all down for it. But Colby, we were talking about it, like the characters and how nuanced their relationships are with one another and just who they are in general. The same thing with Bradley's character. Like, oh yeah, this guy's a jerk. But then around the campfire, I think, is when he tells Linda, yeah, my parents really didn't like me. My mom didn't like me. My dad didn't really like me. His dad didn't like him. And she's like, wow, that's why you're kind of an asshole. He's like, yeah. So it's the same thing. It's like, we're giving you some reasoning as to why this character might do the actions that they're doing. And it's like, is he kind of a good guy? She is kind of holding him here against his will. That's way more interesting than like, he's a can we talk about, I don't know if I can talk. Yeah, we can say this on YouTube. I think the penis scene, that was good,
Yeah.
That was I thought that was one of the most tense scenes of the movie.
It was so good.
It was great, but I was like, there's no way she's actually doing this. Like, I feel like it's an animal or something, and it still had me like quivering in my seat.
Dude, Dylan O'Brien's performance in that too, with those tears running down his face. Rachel
good.
McAdams was so sinister. And then the sound design when she's actually cutting, I was like, she's really cutting off his penis.
It was so good. His watery eyes have literally just been on the poster. And it's so funny because I think all of us in the trailers, we saw the trailers for months. We saw his watery eyes. And we're just like, I don't know what that is, but I'm tired of seeing it for 4 months straight. Then we finally get to it in the movie. You're like, oh, that's why you put it on the poster. This is pretty crazy.
And then, of course, the intense score going on behind it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. That's what I'm saying, man. Like the whole idea of him being paralyzed, but he can like still see everything. It's just such a good idea.
It was so diabolical.
I also think, I don't know if you guys have mentioned this yet, but I think one of the best things too is like the sexual tension that built in this movie. Like, it's fantastic.
I wasn't too much of a fan of the possibility of a relationship between the two of them. I get it. Dylan O'Brien's sexy. Trust me. I've been watching interviews of him the last few days. The guy is a likable guy. He's a good-looking guy. He's got a good body. We got to see it on full display. If I was on a desert island and it was just me and Dylan, we couldn't procreate, but we could have some fun. Anyways, I just didn't think that made sense with the characters.
Well, that also crossed my mind too, but it gave like glimpses that Rachel McAdams is like very good looking and beautiful without still sexualizing her in that movie.
Yeah, I would say she did become more and more beautiful as the movie went on, personally to me. But I guess the thing I noticed is which I guess it's a little bit different. I never believed that he saw that in her. We definitely got hints that she was feeling some way towards him, but he was kind of just like level-headed the entire time, which I guess makes sense because he has a fiance. And holy shit, was she beautiful? Good Lord.
I was wondering like that. There was like slow pans. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the only thing I'm like disagreeing with you with is I think, they like kind of made Rachel McAdams look better, obviously, but I think it's after the campfire scene that you were talking about where they both kind of open up about their broken past, and they're like connecting emotionally is why I think it helped me believe that they might come out of this together. You know what I mean? Like once you actually like have those deep talks at fucking 2 a.m. while you're drunk with someone, it can really help you connect with one another.
You're
I'm
not
just
wrong.
looking at his girlfriend's name is the actress's name is Adil Ismail.
Mhm.
Cool name. She's from Western Australia. Sick name. Also, there's some guy in here named Xavier Samuel. That's a sick name. All right, hold on. I'm looking at the cast here. Bruce Campbell is Bradley's father. When did we
Yeah.
see? Wait, he died. The party. Was it a voice thing? Did we ever see
No,
his
you
face?
see a poster of him behind Bradley after
There's
he
a big
first moved into the
portrait.
office.
On his office wall behind his desk.
Interesting. Is it ever in focus or it's kind of like a blurry?
Yeah, oh
thing?
yeah, it's
You're
in
like,
focus.
Yeah.
Damn, I missed it. He was
I
Bradley's
mean, it's
father.
also, you said it's been a week. Like, it's not like something you're going to be remembering 6 months from now. Like, you remember how big Bruce Campbell was in Send Help? Like, it was.
I mean, when's the last time Bruce Campbell really acted in a movie? I mean, if we're being honest.
Multiverse.
He just
Madness.
did a show, I think last year or the year before, called Hysteria. I think he was in that.
That was a series.
It was a Peacock series.
Okay.
I think Bruce Campbell is in that.
I was
I
gonna
was
say,
like, he hasn't
Multiverse
been.
Madness he's pretty memorable in.
Yeah, but he really hasn't been in an actual movie in like a leading role or like in just in a significant role in a very long time. And I like to see him do that. It's cool. It would be cool to see, a pretty seasoned actor like that who hasn't got the recognition that he deserves in a long time be up for a role. Like it'd be really sick for Sam Raimi's next movie, literally just to star Bruce Campbell and not have any affiliation with the Evil Dead. I think that would just be really cool from a creating perspective.
Yeah, he was in Hysteria, but it got canceled after the first season.
Okay.
Rough.
Stone, you know what you would really care about in Send Help? I'm just kidding. But the watch that Bradley is wearing would actually be a very good watch to be stranded with.
Why is that, Connor? Tell me.
One, it's like waterproof up to 200 meters, I think, but it also has a feature on it for a stopwatch as well, which could arguably be helpful in a survival situation. Plus, you can just manage your time with keeping a watch that's like that durable, that waterproof. It's a Rolex Daytona.
Did you know that off? Because I know you're a big watch guy. Did you know that off the bat? Did you look at it Daytona, or did you like have to research it?
It's like if
you
you
information locked up there, dude. That's crazy.
Even if you like loosely know watches, like that's one of the most worldwide recognizable watches.
Interesting. I have an Apple Watch Series 7, I think.
Boo.
I wanted to get a watch this one time. I asked my wife, and I was like, "You think it'd be cool? Like, it's kind of a piece of jewelry, like for dudes. I think it's just sick." And she's like, "No, I think your Apple Watch is fine." I'm like, "Okay." There goes that dream. My dad, my brother, super into watches, but I don't necessarily need one. I would rather. What do I spend money on? I don't know what I spend money on.
It is
I spend
strange
money on
that
dumb
started
shit.
that like watch series on TikTok. Like Colby, I don't know if you've seen it all, but it's just watches worn in movies and shows. I've had like a few people DM me like, "Hey man, I'm thinking about getting my first watch. Like, what do you think?" And like,
That's sick.
I'll ask them for a price range, and then I'll like kind of give them a few ideas, but then I'll always end the message like, also like, I'm not a watch guy. Like, I don't own a lot of watches. Like, I'm knowledgeable on them, but I was like, that's not my first niche. So like, I don't want to, promise you I'm, the world.
Are you gonna do a separate TikTok for your watches? Do you think?
No, because that's like still tied into movies. So like,
Yeah, you're right. Because you're like, you saw these watches in a movie. Here's the details about them. Yeah, you're right. Are we forgetting about any scenes? How do you guys feel? How did you guys feel about the CGI when it came to the boar? Heard some people say that bothered them. It just the mood personally for me felt really cartoony in the moment. Like maybe if Rachel McAdams was playing that super straight and it was super serious and it was super dramatic, then a CGI boar would have really bothered me. But because it kind of fit the tone of the film at that certain time, I noticed it. Definitely noticed it, but I'm like, it kind of fits.
Did you see Strangers Chapter 2?
Dude, I have one of the most two things. I saw the premiere, a world premiere. I also, Colby, I think I showed this last episode. I got a tattoo about the Strangers Chapter 2 right there.
Oh hell yeah! Did you get that at Fantastic Fest?
I did. You weren't
Love
there,
it.
were you?
I was there. I was there the year before. I didn't get to go
Okay.
this last year.
I was like, I better not have missed you there. Yeah, I went my first time this last year. I watched it at the premiere. Everyone was like, damn, that sucked. But I was the first one of the first people, because I watched that premiere, one of the first people to put out a letterbox review for the movie. And I said that was a big bore. And I put BOAR. And it's one of the most liked videos or liked reviews on that movie. But good Lord, was that movie terrible.
But yeah, because Strangers Chapter 2 did the same thing with a fucking bore, but it did not fit the tone. It did not fit the atmosphere.
was
It did
out
not
of
fit fucking anything.
Connor,
so Send
she was
Help
like-
did it entirely better.
She was like in the main character of the strange. I totally agree. The main character of the Stranger Chapter 2, Connor, was like in, I don't fucking know, Oregon, and just like walking around in the woods. All of a sudden, a pig showed up and just tried to maul her to death, like it was the Revenant, and she was Leonardo DiCaprio. And I literally, Connor, was in the theater with my mouth agape, and I was like, what is happening? I do not understand the creative process behind this decision. I never did. I think I've talked about that probably on our podcast before.
I think so. I'll answer the question now. It didn't really bother me that much. I noticed it, like Stone said, but I was more like just kind of in shock and awe a little bit, because it wasn't so bad that it took me out of the movie entirely. And then like the whole eye scene was wild. And then it immediately made me laugh when she just drops a boar head in front of Bradley and she's just covered in blood.
Yeah, I agree. The boar scene, like, yeah, it didn't look the best, but it, like, the emotion with everything going on, how funny it was, I thought it fit perfectly, and I loved it. Like, how over the top gory that part was, like, I thought it was hilarious and fun.
It really works, because that's just goofy. That's really goofy for her just to keeps on pushing at her. Blood still keeps on going in her face, and that was just perfectly. The tone of that was just. It couldn't have been better. Also, I like that the boar was there for such a long time.
Yeah.
I think if it's very bad CGI and you only notice it for a second, it's like, I don't know, Dwayne Johnson turning into a monster in the Mummy movie, or I've seen that bad CGI. It's just
the
like
scorpion.
Yeah. It's nothing like that, which I really appreciate it. And I don't think there's really much CGI in the movie. I mean, a lot of it is shot on location. And it seems like a pretty-ish cheap movie to make. Maybe besides the salaries of the actors, but I think the movie was. Let's look it up very quick. I think the budget of the movie was $40 million. So a $20 million opening weekend is okay. For the movie, it's not terrible. So yeah, it was $40 million. So we'll see. We'll see how it does.
This is like the last thing I have on it, because we were talking about CGI, and obviously this is a CGI portion of the movie. But where the fiance and the boat driver fall off the cliff, was that the same part of the cliff, and did she repair it? Because I mean, like, I could see her maybe doing that afterward as a plan B for like Bradley or something, if something did go wrong, because it seemed like the same part, because she knew the flowers that they were by, and then like it looked like there wasn't a part that had been broken off prior.
I mean, she has the skills and the intellect to do that, so I can see that happening, and her setting it up as a trap for Bradley, and she used it for them instead, so I think that's very possible.
I don't think that happened, because she, at that point in the movie, does not want Bradley to die. I mean, Bradley literally almost drowned to death in the ocean trying to take a raft out there and poisoned her, and she could have just let him. She could have just let him die there. But she
that
saved his
scene
life.
too.
The vomiting. Oh,
scene.
dude. Oh my gosh. I can't take
my
vomiting.
theater was erupting in laughter with the vomit. It just wouldn't stop, and it was fucking hilarious.
The thing too. It's gross. It's fun, and it's goofy. It's so good. But yeah, I don't think she was trying to kill Bradley at that time. So I don't think that would have made sense. I think she does have the intellect, and she does remember that happening to her. So she's looking at that. That might have just been a different portion where she's like, I bet that's about to go. So that's why she was doing that.
I also, speaking of the raft scene, was just cracking up every time he like got past a new wave, and he would just like cheer that his raft is holding together.
That was very funny. Remind me of Lost.
And he turns around, he's like, "Fuck you, Linda."
Yeah.
It's very funny. It's so good. And I did not expect his girlfriend to show up. I thought that was a nice little part. I mean, her hand, kind of reminded me of the Evil Dead, like sticking out of the
Yeah.
ground, like her hand just being there. I mean,
I feel like that was
another
definitely an
callback
Easter
to
egg.
yeah, and then personally for me, the other Easter egg to one of Sam Raimi's other films that I saw was, coming through the spider web when they were in the cave and you see a spider. I'm like, oh, Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man. So that was the one that stuck out to me more than fucking Bruce Campbell. But I have to ask, do you guys think that you could survive on a desert island? Okay, you were both in the military. So personally, I think that right now, out of the three of us, Stone's at the number 3. I'm like the necktie, out the airplane kind of guy. I'm flying. You see me in the window. I'm covered in blood. I go off to my paradise, to my drowning paradise in the ocean. I'm done. Kaput. The two of you are on this island together. Okay.
Oh, if it's by myself, I'd give myself a week. If it's me being able to work with somebody who also has skills, I think we could do it.
Let me ask you this: is it the island in Send Help, and we can take away the billionaire's house? Like we can just say it's a barren island, but is it like this type of tropical weather?
It's a barren island. But
am I going to see all 4 seasons? Is more what I'm asking.
Are you going to see all 4 seasons? No, it's tropical. It's tropical.
By myself, I'd give myself 4 months. With someone else, I think I could make it a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if me and Colby are there, I think we're just
boys for
the rest of our life. We're gonna ride it out together.
Interesting.
Honestly, Stone, you could be a good person there because you got a little bit of medical background.
I can give you compressions. That's about it. If you die, I'll try to give you back to life. Medical background? Yeah, I guess I kind of know when it comes to wounds and stuff what not to do. But I think you give me more credit than I should have. But I appreciate that.
I have basic.
Not giving myself enough.
I have basic knowledge for wounds, for taking care of wounds and everything too.
Yeah. I was
BLS.
I know that I can start a fire.
You can start a fire?
Yeah.
Okay, how? Give me your process. How do you do it?
During COVID, I got really bored for a month.
I already love this story.
And I literally for just
Okay, sorry, I have to stop. Colby, that was so funny. He said, during COVID, I got bored. And you're like, holy shit, man. This
I'm locked in.
So sick.
I'm locked in.
I was like, all right. Oh.
And there was a couple-week period there in my dad's I was living with my dad because I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps at the time. And I just got bored and I would go in his backyard and I would just start trying to rub 2 sticks together. I would get some dead grass just to see if I could do it. And I eventually figured it out and I did it 4 times in a row and I was like, all right, I'm solid now.
So you just do it by rubbing 2 sticks together?
Well, and you put a little bit of dry grass, wheat.
That would be the problem though on a tropical island, finding the dead stuff to use to ignite it.
Yeah, if you can make it a couple days, you could realistically pick some leaves off a bush or a tree or find some grass and then just leave it under a leaf or something to let it dry out for a few days and then you can make it happen. It just depends on if you can make it through those first couple of nights if you don't have something dry. Or if you have something sharp enough, you could skin a tree and use that.
I'm really trying to think about how I would survive. Obviously the fire. You boil water to make sure it's safe, and then you drink the water. Or you can do rain. You can do. I like the little leaf things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to do it. So you dig a hole, and you put leaves, and you put halves of coconuts down there. That's how you get some water, rainwater.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really realistically only getting you 3 cups a day.
Yeah, but how would I make a fishing pole? Obviously a stick. I guess you just use the string of some tree and you try to make some rope and attach it to the stick. And what's a hook? How do you get a hook?
I was gonna say the hardest part would be the hook.
I guess wreckage from the airplane if you can find any.
If you're flying with your Diet Coke, Stone, you're set.
That is true. That is true. I wonder. See, these are the questions. They didn't talk about, what was Linda using as a hook?
Well,
Maybe there's a reason why she never got on Survivor. Maybe
she was always walking back from the beach with a spear, so I think she was spear fishing rather than fishing.
Dude, that sushi did look good.
Yeah, it did.
That was fun. I thought that bug was going to poison him.
Dude, that bug was when he had it in his teeth too.
That was gnarly.
Black tongue.
I was wondering like how that was filmed, because like I think that was CGI, but I wonder like how it translated to him picking it up and eating it, because it looked like he was actually eating something. So that's just like a little behind the scenes moment that I would just love to see how they put that all together.
You never eaten a bug, Stone?
Have I eaten a bug? I've probably eaten a bug. I'm pretty good when it comes to like, I like throw a cricket in my mouth if it's like
I'm not saying
a
have you
cricket.
I'm saying have you purposely like eaten a bug?
I was just telling you, like sometimes like people have like crickets. A lot of people eat crickets. I would just throw a cricket in my mouth probably. If it's dead, not if it's alive. I'm not going to take up some live bug off the ground and like eat it. I would probably take that bug that he had and cook it over a fire and then maybe eat it. I don't really know what the cooking would do. Yeah, I don't really know what the cooking would do.
I'm not cooking a bug, but like I don't know. Colby's
Mentally
probably heard
makes
some
me
horror
feel
stories of
better
what Marines do in the woods and the things that we have eaten or drank.
I don't want to know, dude. I don't want to know. What are you eating and drinking in the woods? Shit and piss?
We can talk about it off air.
Yeah, I'm good. Jeez, pizzas. Gross.
I don't need like PETA coming after our podcast.
Oh, PETA. Goodness gracious. Not the guy from Hunger Games. Yeah, definitely not. I got that. Sorry. Bringing up the. All right. So. Oh, I just hit my microphone. Sorry about that, boys. Connor, I want to ask you, because I think I'm going to get a biased answer and I can't wait for it. So, who survives out on a desert island? A Marine or a Navy SEAL or Navy man?
Navy SEAL.
Just Navy. Yeah, just Navy.
Oh, okay. Just Navy. The hard part is what is the job? Like, what is the person's MOS? Because that's really going to weigh into my answer. Because, I mean, I would say, I don't know. I'd say if you take your like standard everyday sailor versus Marine lives longer. But
I can agree with that. I was just a gunner's mate. I just did maintenance on weapons.
I mean, I worked on C-130s. Like, so I didn't really have a like out in the field job. But I would say, because like Stone, Marines are the only branch where everyone gets combat training. You only get that if you like have a certain job in every other branch. So like, I mean, we all have a little bit of experience living in the woods, like I've slept in a hole in 5-degree weather. It was brutal. I hated it. But so that's why I'd say like the everyday Marine probably, but specialized jobs, I could see a sailor living longer.
A sailor? Is that what you call Navy men?
Yeah.
Seaman.
That or seaman.
Seaman. I don't think we saw any of that during this movie. No.
Dylan
O'Brien.
wasn't a joke, Stone.
I know. Mine was a joke, Connor. Come on now. Come on.
No, okay. All right, Colby, let's do this. How would you rank each branch for like survivability?
Oh, goodness. This
Air
is like
Force
you and
last.
Dan talking about sports.
I was thinking, honestly, Coast Guard.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about Coast Guard.
Might be number 2.
I don't know. Coast Guard, they have a lot of training for Coast Guard. But they just stay on the coast. But I think Navy and Marines are the smartest.
You guys are so funny. Psych. Yeah, those branches are dumb as hell.
But I think like when it comes to survival instincts, nobody is better than Navy SEALs.
Yeah, I mean,
Wouldn't
unless
the Coast
you really
Guard
want
be
to get into
good?
the nitty-gritty of like Delta.
Yeah, I mean, you get your Delta guys, your recon. Obviously, they know their shit too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I was just taking special forces all out of this.
Okay, so no special forces. For my MOS, we did go to combat school in Gulfport, Mississippi. So we train with like the CBs and all that shit. So, but everyday sailors, no.
Yeah, I think if I had to rank
Most
it
of
by
them are
like,
worthless.
yeah, I'm saying if like you're ranking it by like just your most average like job, like you're not seeing combat really, like you're just your everyday guy in the modern military, I'd probably go Marine, Army, Sailor,
Yeah.
Air. Well, no, I'm sorry, Marine, Coast Guard, Army, Sailor, Air Force, Space Force.
I forgot about Space Force.
The hell
I
is
only know
Space
Space
Force?
Force because I just did a video on Steve Carell's watch collection, and he bought the Omega Speedmaster, which was like the first watch on the moon, and it looks like their big selling point. And he bought one and wore one for his show Space Force on Netflix.
No, I like that because I do think Coast Guard, like your average Coast Guard, I think is a lot smarter than your average sailor.
Yeah.
Wait, so number one was Coast Guard? Sorry, I zoned out there for a little bit.
No, I
No,
said number
it's-
one would be Marine.
Marines, Army, Coast Guard, Navy, Air Force, Space Force.
All right, guys. Comment down below wherever you're watching this or listening to this who you think, what branch you think would survive best on a desert island. I'm really curious to see how many of our listeners are like ex-military. I don't know if there's a lot of them out there.
I was gonna say,
Connor, probably one out of every other episode, Connor like has this little riff that he does about Marines, like 2-3 minutes. But if our audience is in that, criteria, maybe we can extend it to 6 or 7 minutes. So
there's definitely going to be some soldiers butthurt about that.
you think we have soldiers listening to us?
That's Army.
I thought everyone was soldiers. Well, it's fine.
No, everyone's
Do you
a
think we have
troop.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's break this down for you real quick. Steph.
I don't want to.
Air Force is airmen, Navy is sailors, Army is soldiers, Marines are Marines.
Fascinating. It's good to know.
Here
Fascinating.
for you.
I am Stone and go by Stone, and he is Colby Does Horror. Brother, thank you for joining us.
Dude, thank
On
you.
this
Dude, this was
episode.
a blast.
Yeah, sorry I clocked out there a little bit at the end.
No,
It
you're
usually
good.
happens when it comes to sports, when it comes to Dan and Connor. I just sit back and I try to look pretty for the pod. Might be struggling today. Got some dry skin up here, got some dry skin on the hands, but what wasn't dry was our conversation. This is great. Loved having you on. Please tell everybody if you guys liked Colby on today's podcast, let us know. Have him back on as soon as we can, as soon as we get another horror movie that aligns with what he loves and everything. But let them know where they can find you again.
Yeah, all my socials are Colby Does Horror. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yes, we found out earlier before we jumped on that if you want some good 30-second reviews, nice and quick to catch your attention there in the first 10 seconds.
30 seconds is
This
a pretty
guy's
long time. Yes, me.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Oh, and if
I
you
was
want to
just-
hear my podcast,
Okay,
too, my
Obi-Wan.
podcast is called The House of Ghouls.
There you go.
And that's on
All right.
also YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everywhere.
Yes, please, guys. If you are horror people, check my guy out, please. New friend of the podcast. Next week, I got to know, though, because you are a sports person. You got a Bears hat on. Connor, 49ers, of course. Me, what am I doing these days? Detroit Lions, Chiefs, something like that. What are our predictions for this coming Sunday, boys?
I got the
My-
Seahawks.
My prediction is the Seahawks, but I'm rooting for the Patriots because fuck the Seahawks.
All right, we want scores.
I'll go 31-17.
I was going to say 34-23.
I will say 30-14. Wow. We'll see. We'll put money on it. I'll put $1
Kobe Myers,
down.
that's an extra kick. Or Jason Myers.
How many is that? That's 3 kicks. That's 3 touchdowns and 3 kicks for the Seahawks. They could do that. I mean, I haven't been following them, but I have faith in myself. Anyways, thank you guys. Please go check out Colby on all of his socials. Please go check out his podcasts. Let us know what you thought about Send Help. Let us know your Super Bowl predictions in the comments down below. If you're a Patriots fan, rah rah. If you're a Seahawks fan, what is it? The 12th
12,
person.
man.
Hey, look at me. Anyways, thank you guys. Before next week, we don't know necessarily what we're doing next week. Tomorrow is Super Bowl Sunday. Recording on a Sunday night where we like we usually do, like we're doing right now, even though we put our episodes out on a Monday, it's gonna be a little bit tricky. We'll see what happens. There's gonna be a lot of trailers, movie trailers that drop next Sunday. We'll figure something out. But until then, please check out Colby and go outside this week, sit on a park bench, touch some grass, call up your friends, watch a good movie, watch a Sam Raimi movie, and we'll see you then. Peace out, everybody.